back to Team Kusog's reporting about the attribute standards 1120 and 1130. Now, let us first discuss about the standard 1120 addresses individual objectivity. This standard states that internal auditor must have an impartial, unbiased attitude and avoid any conflict of interest. Standard 1120 interprets conflict of interest as a situation in which internal auditor, who is in a position of trust, has a competing professional or personal interest. Competing interests can make it difficult to internal auditor to fulfill his or her duties impartially. It even exists if no unethical or improper act results. A conflict of interest can create an appearance of impropriety that can eventually undermine the confidence in the internal audit, the internal audit activities, and the profession. We see conflict of interest can impair an individual's ability to perform his or her duties and responsibilities objectively. And so, Practice Advisory 1120-1 was mandated as a means that internal auditors must perform engagements in such a manner that they have an honest belief in their work product and that no significant quality compromises are made. Internal auditors are not to be placed in situations that could impair their ability to make objective professional judgments. That is all for Standard 1120. Let us now proceed to our next topic, which is the Standard 1130, addresses impairments to independence or objectivity. This standard states that independence or objectivity is impaired in fact or appearance. The details of the impairments must be disclosed to appropriate parties. The nature of the disclosure will depend upon the impairments. Impairment to organizational independence and individual objectivity may include, but is not limited to, personal conflict of interest, scope limitations, restrictions on access to records, personnel and properties, and resource limitations such as funding. The determination of appropriate parties to which the details of an impairment to independence or objectivity is disclosed is dependent upon the expectation of the internal audit activities and the chief executive's responsibilities to senior management and the board, as described in the internal audit charter, as well as the nature of the impairment. Common impairments such as a personal conflict of interest, a scope limitation including a restriction of access to records, personnel or properties, resource limitations which includes funding limitations, situations where the auditor is assessing operations for which they were previously responsible, assurance engagements for functions over which the CIE has previously had responsibility. Lastly, consulting engagements in areas where assurance engagements are also performed. These common impairments will also be discussed in the next part of the report. That concludes the third part of the independence and objectivity attribute standards. I hope you enjoy and learn something from it.